I or you or whoever is living there is the one spending the most time in the space. And I think you should be pretty selfish in the way that you choose things. If it brings you joy and makes you happy, get it and don't worry about what other people think when they come in.
Everyone deserves a home that brings them joy. Maybe you're more of a host than a recluse, or maybe you're a parent or a traveler. Everyone's home should be a reflection of their personality. So we wanted to talk to some of the most inspiring people we could find about how their passions and their personalities impact the homes that they inhabit. Amy Racine has been the beverage director for over 20 bars and restaurants around the country, ranging from the Terrace at the Times Square Edition to Tatiana in Lincoln Center. She volunteers in programs like Turning Tables and Wine on Wheels to increase inclusivity in the beverage industry. And she was most recently named Sommelier and Beverage Director of the Year by Wine Enthusiast magazine. Hey, Amy, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. That's a fun honor to add to the list, huh?
Oh, it's really special. Yeah, thank you for that. It's pretty amazing.
Well, we're talking to people that we're really intrigued and inspired by and curious about how, your personality and your passions have connected with the way that you think about home design. So I want to get to the things that you're doing today for sure, but if you don't mind, I'd love to backtrack a little bit and find out what home looked like when you were growing up.
Yeah, home. I grew up in the Midwest and I spent a lot of time in my room, but my parents also wanted us to spend a lot of time together. So we spent a lot of time around the dinner table, and that's where a lot of celebrations and a lot of people coming over, a lot of hosting happened, or outside if it was nice, because it can get pretty brutal in the winters there.
Were there particular rituals or traditions that you guys had at meals or around drinks or anything like that?
Well, when we sat down for dinner, we had to talk about what happened during our day. And my dad was very adamant that we learned how to speak and talk with other people and keep the conversation going. So it was kind of like a round table. Then we would ask each other questions about what happened that day. And when we had family over or friends over, we were also expected to practice that. So it was a lot of time socializing and going around and asking people about themselves, what's new with them, remembering what happened the last time that you saw them, checking in. And not only was it great communication, but it's also, I think, a part of that kind of like Midwestern hospitality and making sure everybody feels welcome.
That's awesome. I love that idea that's instilled so early. So if it was such a social time around the table and you said your home or your bedroom at the time felt like a little bit of an escape, how do you think about home now? Is it a place that you're welcoming in people in the door every day after you leave the restaurants, or is it more of a homebody escape for you right now?
I was thinking about that. I think, well, now I live in Manhattan, right? So the space is not there that I used to have, which I kind of always wanted. I always dreamed of being in. It sounds silly now, but when I was little, I was like, I'm going to move to New York and I'm going to live in a small apartment. And I was watching Friends and all of that, even though they had a great apartment. So now, yeah, they had a great one. And I got here and I realized that wasn't real. The idea was, I'll have people over and this is where they'll sit and this is where we'll make drinks. And I think now I'm in a place that it's where I more go to retreat a little bit and to turn off. And it feels very comfortable and there's a lot of plants and it's meant to bring peace. I still like to spend time with friends and family in this space, but it's not as large of a group as what I imagined. It's a little bit more intimate and a little bit more comfortable.
Are you in New York most of the time? I know the restaurants are around the country, so are you traveling a lot?
Not as much as many people who travel for work, but I do travel several times during the month and overnight trips. And within the past year or 2 years, I've started being like, I would really like to sleep in my own bed, or I would like to be on my own couch, cuddled up. So right now I'm still very much enjoying the travel, but I do miss home.
Are there any intentional ways that you've fit out your space now to suit that more nomadic transient life?
That's a good question. I think yes, I have now a closet dedicated to travel. So that's where I keep my suitcase that's ready to go. I have extra sets of the toiletries I need and everything, so I can just load in I have an extra pair of sneakers for running because I know I'll always want to go out and go for a run. So I can just throw in the clothes that I need and then leave and then come back and just push it into the closet and then forget about it until the next time I come back, which before in my very first apartment in New York, there wasn't many places to hide or stow things away. So that's something that's important to me now. I don't want to look at things that are going to remind me that I'm going to get up and leave again next week.
And that just made me think, when you are opening a new restaurant or bar in a new location, I guess I was curious if the neighborhood and the city itself almost informs the design of the space, or if it would be the same concept no matter where it was placed.
No, yeah, the place that we're going very much contributes to the concept. We will usually start understanding that we either want to do something in a particular city or we have a space in a particular city. And we'll have an idea of what we want to do with everything from design to what the beverage menu looks like to what the culinary menu looks like, what the uniforms might look like. And then we go there, we spend a lot of time, and we'll go around to restaurants in the area. We'll talk to people from the area. We'll basically socialize and try to get as much of a piece of the city as we can. And then as soon as we get there, we kind of turn the dials on what we were originally thinking and where we want to change it and what we think might be important to the place that we're going. And, we always remember that we're in somebody else's neighborhood and turf. So we always want to be respectful of what's appropriate or what the culture is there. So that way, we can kind of get sewn into the fabric that is that place.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We always say when we're designing homes that it's always a unique family and a unique site and a unique, set of lifestyles and personalities that we're designing for. And it warrants every project to be tailored to that, set of requirements.
That's awesome.
I guess
It has to be so much more intimate, and rather than like the spaces we're doing, which are meant to like please a lot of people basically in one sitting. And I can imagine what it's like to do it for a particular, that sounds like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, let's get into it. I mean, can you tell us, I guess, a little bit about what you are doing nowadays? Because I'd love to hear more about how you think about designing for the masses.
Short. So right now in Manhattan, we have 2 hotels that we operate food and beverage out of: the Edition Times Square and the Wall Street Hotel. And then we have a restaurant called Iris in Midtown. In the North Fork of Long Island, we have a restaurant called the North Fork Table and Inn. And in Tampa, we operate the food and beverage for 3 spaces instead of the Tampa Edition Hotel. And then we also do the food and beverage for the Winthrop Center in Boston. So we have very different concepts. We have these more kind of fine dining spaces. One of our spaces is Michelin-starred restaurant now. And then we have, this, the lineup, which are kiosks really for food and beverage. So the way we approach menus in both of those spaces is very different. The lineup is in Boston and we have to be quick. We're in the finance district of Boston. We have to be quick because people are coming in and out for lunch. Lunchtime isn't necessarily the time most people want to be adventurous and try some new crazy mocktail or cocktail. So we have to adapt that way. But in the more fine dining spaces, people are coming for, your experience and kind of your view on things. And they want to kind of be in your hands and not take so much control. So that plays a factor in all aspects, from menu to physical space.
Was it fair to say that you're curating experiences?
Yes, we're definitely curating experiences, and we're thinking about who is the person that's going to be coming here and what experience are they expecting? How do they want to feel when they're here? Or do they want to think or do they want to not think? Do they want it to be fast or slow? So uh, it's something we take very seriously, and we definitely respect the fact that people are choosing to spend time with us at all. So it's really important that we perform as best we can, no matter what the situation is.
Do you think about those same kind of things in regards to your own home?
I really think a lot of it comes from, again, that kind of Midwestern mentality rather than what I'm doing on a day to day. When people will come into my home, I want them to have a little aperitif, and I make it small so that way they're not feeling committed to a drink that maybe they don't like, but it's something to kind of take the edge off for a second. But the idea of it, I think, is deep rooted in what my family instilled and how they were behaving when we had people over.
Yeah, it's funny how direct of a connection it seems like from that idea of making the dinner table every night such a social experience to what you're creating now at a much larger scale. Do you host at your own home nowadays, or is your home more of a escape from hosting?
I like welcoming people, but I don't think I'm great at the multitasking of cooking and being engaged as other people are. I think it's a real skill, and I very much love cooking, but I I want it to happen at a certain time, and I want to plan things out. I was thinking yesterday actually, if I had free reign to get any sort of space that I wanted, I don't know if I would necessarily do the kitchen on display that um, is popular right now, or something that you see a lot. Uh, I remember once going to the Vanderbilt Mansion. Again, this is if I had free reign and no restrictions. The Vanderbilt Mansion in Hyde Park, and they had several kitchens that were tucked away and meant to be hidden. You weren't meant to see them. And first of all, they're stunning, beautiful kitchens. But I was like, I think that's what I want. I would want it to happen in the background, and then everything come out. If I'm the one cooking and I'm the one hosting, I I have a hard time switching between being engaged in a conversation and not messing dinner up.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been getting that request more and more, and we've been designing it in some of our projects where it's even just a small secondary sink or something in a pantry that you can go make a quick mess and then leave the, you know, island a little bit less chaotic while people are over has been a nice touch for some of the homes we've been designing. You've had the chance to work with some really unbelievable designers on some of the spaces that you guys have created. I was curious if there's just specifics like lighting or material or layout or something that you've taken away from the restaurants that you've created that you would want in a perfect home.
Yes, we've worked with many different designers and architects, and I think I've just learned that I think I have a hard time visualizing in the way that other people can. If I walk into a room that is about to be renovated, I can't just see what other people see. But I've been really surprised with a lot of designers that, they bring in the furniture or the wallpaper or carpet, whatever it is, into this empty room, and you look at it. There's been a couple of times where I've been like, what is about to happen in here? And then it goes up and it's beautiful. I mean, I kind of view what you do and what so many others do as art, and not something that I necessarily understand at the beginning, but I respect and very much admire the final product, and it's amazing to me.
So if every restaurant or bar that you guys are designing has a kind of unique story and brand an aesthetic to it that's very intentional. Is there a vibe or an aesthetic that you would relate to personally the most?
I suppose the one in Long Island, again, the North Fork, is probably the one that I resonate with most of the time. However, there's times that I want to feel glamorous and I want to, spend more time at the Wall Street Hotel where there's details of pearl everywhere. Or there's times that I want to feel loud and very easygoing and to be playful, and that's the Edition Times Square. Or, there's times that I want to be more sophisticated, and that would be either the Vermilion Club in Boston or the Lilac restaurant in Tampa. So I think I relate to all of them almost as if those different foods or personalities.
So you just need 5 foams, is what you're saying.
There might be more personalities than that. Me, I don't know. But right now it's doing the job.
Can we back up a little bit? Can you tell us about your path from having family dinners to being Sommelier of the Year?
Sure. Yeah. So I always wanted to be in hospitality, probably because of all of these stories that I told you so far, the having family over, and I would help stir martinis or pour wine, and I wanted to help in the kitchen. So I thought I wanted to be a chef. So I got in the hours that I needed to get into the Culinary Institute of America. But what I really loved in my 3.5 years there were the beverage programs. And I never thought about beverage as a career path before. It was always surrounding us in the house. There was always wine on the table on Sundays, and there was always, the smell of sambuca around the holidays. It was always very intertwined. I just hadn't thought about how important it is on its own. So I started getting into beverage that way, and I kind of cut my teeth at a few different spaces. I worked at this resort called Amagiri in Utah, and I worked at the Greenbrier Hotel in West Virginia, both of which design-wise are incredibly different. And then I landed at a restaurant called Sons and Daughters in San Francisco. I learned so much in San Francisco, and I loved being so close to Napa. And that's where I went for a lot of exams and really put in a lot of grind. But I knew San Francisco wasn't for me long term. So I moved to New York and started working with John Fraser at a restaurant called Dovetail on the Upper West Side, which is sadly no longer there. But I started there as the wine director. And since that was in 2016, and since then, the company has grown into this company that has 16 concepts right now. And I've moved from wine director into this beverage director role, and kind of moved from not just wine to all beverages in our program, all cocktail, coffee, tea, any liquids really fall under my purview. So it's been awesome. I love New York, and I love this group, and there's amazing people in it. And I especially love the diversity of it. Kind of what we were speaking about before. You can kind of exercise different muscles in different concepts and in different spaces, and you can bring out different parts of your personality depending on the concept that you're in.
Are there ways that you can think of on a much smaller scale that someone can bring that level of intention into their own home?
I have some stemware and pieces that I love to display, and others that go away. And I think about what I want to entertain with and what I want to drink and how I want to feel in my space. So again, that's everything from tea to a cocktail at the end of the night or a glass of wine. And I choose pieces based on that, and also efficiency. It's a small apartment. You can't have 13 different types of martini glasses as much as I would love to. So what makes sense for everything, and what would I want to hand to my mom when she comes in, what would I feel proud about, having as a glass or a cocktail for her. So I think that there should be a lot of intention behind the efficiency of what you're putting in your home, especially if you have limited space. But, I or you or whoever is living there is the one spending the most time in the space. And I think you should be pretty selfish in the way that you choose things. If it brings you joy and makes you happy, get it, and don't worry about what other people think when they come in.
That's amazing. Is there a go-to drink you're making yourself at home then?
In the morning, I'm a tea person. Coffee, I just isn't my thing. And I think I'm probably the only person in New York that feels that way, but I'm a tea drinker. So I have mugs that I've purchased, but I also kind of have this kind of collection of mugs that people have given me, and I never would have picked for myself, but like one of our sommeliers in one of our restaurants went home to Poland and brought me back this beautiful piece that was made from where she's from, and things like that just, if you were to lie them out on the table and people look at them, they don't go together, but they're very meaningful and they make you feel good and special. And at the end of the night, because of what I do try to make sure that I go a couple of nights without having hard drink, just to make sure I can. But on nights that I do, I'll do a glass of wine, or and I have a glass a brand that I really love for stemware, that works for any style, sparkling red, white, and it's one all-purpose glass, and it's durable. I can put it in the dishwasher, but it feels elegant when you're holding it. Or I'll do a martini, and I prefer little martini glasses because I can make a full-size martini and just have half of one and leave the rest in the fridge, and maybe I save it for another day, or maybe I finish it. Usually I finish it.
I was going to say the self-control in a half is very impressive.
Yeah, it starts one way and then you get a half martini and you're like, eh.
I would also imagine the martinis that you're making would be extra hard to stop.
I like 50-50 martinis, half vermouth, half spirit, gin and vodka, because then it's, in my mind, it's half of a cocktail, even if they have a full wine.
Also, it goes back to your efficiency tip.
Yeah. Yeah. You can keep working and, not regret the email you sent the next morning or whatever. So
I assume that in all of this and all the training that you've done and experience that you've acquired, that scent has played a big role in a beverage menu in all the spaces that you've created. And I was curious, how can homeowners use fragrance to enhance their own hosting experiences?
So when you enter like a family home, whether it's yours or not, there's usually a scent that's so unique to that space. And it's the smell that somebody who grew up somewhere might come back to and be like, oh, I remember that smell. Like, it's a sentimental smell. When you smell something familiar from years ago, it can bring back so many memories, and your olfactory is so tied to these things in your past, and I love that. I do have candles that I put out. I like more masculine scents, more herbal scents, rather than like fruity or like sweet baking spices, tobacco, and in the winter fir. But right now, since it's kind of hopefully the first few weeks of spring right now, I like to just open the windows, and I'm more on the west side and close to the water, so it's a little bit fresher. But I like to open the windows and get the spring air in, and especially when everything's blossoming, I prefer to keep it natural. Also, when I go to work, the idea is that I am odor free. Like, I don't have any perfume, or like, I'm clean, but I don't have any perfume or anything on me, because if you're tasting a great glass of wine and then you can just smell me, you're not going to smell the wine. So I like a little bit in my house, but I think I am sensitive to smell.
That's so interesting. There, I've actually thought about this a lot, and I don't say it because I feel like no one ever wants to hear me complain about this. But I do
Well-
find it very funny when incredible cocktail bars have really nice hand soap. I don't know. Maybe I should throw this question to you: Is the soap in the bars and restaurants something that you ever consider? Does that change the way someone experiences a drink?
Yeah. There is something to be said about having a heavily perfumed hand soap and then, taking a drink and then you can smell your hand. But we do want it to be something quality. So just buying from the Department of Sanitation, their soap, it's not a luxury experience.
All right, I'm going to jump into a few, I'm going to say rapid fire. They have no need to actually be rapid fire. So whatever comes to mind, what does a dream wine cellar look like in a perfect home for you?
Oh, I do like dimly lit, and a space to enjoy, I think, would be important in that space as well. Just a couple of comfy chairs and a place to put your glass to be able to go in and pull a bottle with somebody and taste it, maybe pull another one. Being able to be in and enjoy the space, not just a storage space.
If there's one design element from any of your bars or restaurants that you could steal and take home, what are you taking?
I think Aegean pastry cart that has some Aegean spirits on it at Iris. Kind of, it's a display for pastry on top and then spirit on the bottom that are meant to go together. It's a great cart. I would take that. They would notice for sure, but I would take that. If it goes messy, now I know.
Well, if there's a second, that sounds great. I'll take one too.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your home, or maybe it's been in all of your homes, that if somebody was blindfolded and walked in, that they would know that this is Amy's home?
I think I have a bad habit of leaving cabinet doors open, so they probably just walk into something and know.
It's either been nuded or Amy lives there.
Yeah. Like the dishwasher door stays open. They would know that.
What about, is there anything missing from your home today that in a perfect scenario you would definitely live with?
I think it would be cool to have a wet bar. If I had a space that's big enough, I just love the look of a wet bar. It's so James Bond. But I think if it could have a little ice machine in it, a silent one, so that way you don't have to, fetch ice all the time, which seems to be the most fleeting part of a bar. With big
great.
screens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brandis?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, initials.
Well, I will let you go enjoy your home. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you.
As we discuss in these conversations, we really believe that the best home designs are the ones that are the most personal. So if you're looking to pair your personality, your passions, and your lifestyle with home design amenities for a future project, jump over to our website or check out our card game, Personal Space.